Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Hello and welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. We've got a new production for you, a new show, a new segment. Call it what you want. It's called the Kopics podcast, presented by myself and the amazing JR James Redmond. Thank you for coming down, brother.
Listen, it's going to be the start of something great, my friend. It's going to be the start of something great. It's a new show. And it's good to be here, lad. You know what I mean? Good to be here.
Listen, it's a pleasure to have you here. We're going to be with you every single Monday, without fail, the Kopics podcast, discussing 3 hot Kopics. Kopics being topics. That's a little play on words that we've done there. Big up to Cecil, actually, for that name. I can't lie to you. It's a new place where we discuss 3 important things every week, isn't it?
Listen, we delve into everything Liverpool related, football related, and just whatever else that comes to our brains.
And also the city of Liverpool. That's where we're filming in central Liverpool.
That's it, indeed.
If you are enjoying and looking forward to the first episode of the Hot Kopics podcast, remember, before we go anywhere, give us a little like and a comment and subscribe to the Kop TV. And of course, please go and subscribe to James Redmond if you haven't already. Links in the bio. Right, let's get into it. Hot Kopics episode 1. I feel like a hot Kopic this week is predicting what is going to happen next season. Obviously, the Premier League starts this weekend. We play Norwich on Saturday. Very excited for that one.
Man.
Got a watch along on the channel for that, so don't miss it. But I wanted to run you through some questions that I had, some predictions, and we'll go from there. So, I mean, a lot of things to be decided yet in terms of Liverpool. Who are we going to buy? Who are we going to sell still? But we will get on to transfers very quickly after this. But right, let's predict who the Golden Boot winner is going to be in the Premier League in the 21-22 season, James.
I think the Golden Boot winner at the moment, there's a few variables now. I've just found out before we started recording about the Harry Kane news. Fabrizio Romano coming out saying that Man City are thinking about preparing £150 million bid. I think if that happens and they've just signed Jack Grealish, they've got Kevin De Bruyne, they've already got all these great players, that's a game changer, because Harry Kane scores goals in a Tottenham team. Now just think about the service that he would get in a Manchester City side. Now there's the argument that maybe goals are more spread out in the Man City side, but I think if you're getting a Harry Kane, you're getting him to play around him, and that is the thing that's going to get you over the line, in which they didn't in the Champions League. But I'm going to edge Romelu Lukaku. I think since Thomas Tuchel has came into Chelsea, I think first off they've smashed it in terms of how they've just completely transformed the side. You think about Frank Lampard saying he couldn't win any trophies with the team that he had, and then Thomas Tuchel comes in and he wins a Champions League. He wins the biggest trophy that you can win in Europe, and I think the Champions League's bigger than the Prem. And I think buying a Romelu Lukaku, or even if it was a Haaland, I think Lukaku was maybe a better signing. Not for the long term, but in terms of right here and right now, the chances that Timo Werner was missing, Romelu Lukaku's going to put them in the back of the net. This is a striker who scored with West Brom, Everton, Manchester United. He's no joke. He's an established Premier League striker. Well. He's just gone to Italy. He scored 4 and 5 in the Euros. He scores wherever he goes. So whatever makes you think that a Romelu Lukaku in a Chelsea system with Thomas Tuchel, where they've created the most chances since he's came into the club, I just don't see in any way, shape or form how this can be a flop. I mean, I don't know if you disagree, Alex, but for me, I just think everything points towards him.
Can't afford a flop.
I also think Timo Werner had the chances to be the top goal scorer last season. He just couldn't put them away.
I think he missed or scored 16 offside goals last season, Timo Werner. So if Lukaku puts them in, he's easily on 30 goals a season.
You go.
I do think at this stage in Lukaku's career, this cannot afford to be a flop. It just, the financial power that's gone behind this deal, the expectation, the time where Chelsea are now, where they've just won a Super Cup through gritted teeth, another European Cup for Chelsea. But because they've done all this now,
he hates Chelsea.
The standard is here.
He
hates
Chelsea.
I can't lie.
That's why the look was it. If there's any Chelsea fans watching,
sorry,
that's
Rory.
why.
Honestly, no. Listen, I don't like them, but I respect them in a way, because Champions League and Super Cup, it's what we did, and we were asking for all the praise. Deservedly, we got it, so they should get their flowers too. Here's a little flower. But considering where Chelsea are right now, the level of expectation is too much for him not to deliver now. And going back to the question, the Golden Boot winner, you said Lukaku's in the frame, you said Kane's in the frame. I'm going to have to go for Mo Salah, because he is a name that consistently in the last 4 seasons, he also played his debut for Liverpool against Watford 4 years ago today. And what an amazing 4 years
the
it's been.
The start of something absolutely...
Incredible.
Like, it's not even something
And he's been there or thereabouts every year.
You don't describe what Mo Salah has done as beautiful. It's not a word that can describe what he's done because nobody expected it.
Legendary.
The money that we paid, and it is legendary.
It's legendary.
I think it's 125 goals in 203 games. I think 43 assists, there and thereabouts anyway. I just think their numbers... That means he's always going to be in that conversation. And I do believe he will be in that conversation. I just think this season he's got a bit more competition because the difference now and past teams, I mean, to be fair, Liverpool weren't great last season and Mo Salah was still bagging goals. However, you look at the fact now that Harry Kane is in a Man City team, they're most likely going to pass it towards him. It's just the most recent thing that we had is that we didn't have much competition except for Man City. Other than that, no one really had a striker or a system around a striker that meant he was going to go ahead and score more than our attackers. And I think now there's more teams who can compete with that. Even Aston Villa getting Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins, you never know. Like, one of them could maybe get into that sort of conversation. There's a few. That's why I'm going to edge Lukaku. But I also believe Lukaku, Kane and Salah, or Salah then Kane, it's going to be all very, very close.
Well, there you go. 3 answers for you. I'm going to go Salah. I'm going to put my hat on it.
I'm going to say Lukaku.
Right, this is a tough one because if you asked me this question maybe 4 weeks ago, who is going to win the Premier League? What is your prediction for that? I would have said, to be honest with you, with the signings so far, Liverpool still had more than a fighting chance about 4 weeks ago. Fast forward a month, and I'm not as confident that Liverpool are going to win the league next season. I mean, whether it's fair or not that Man City can go out and spend 250 in 2 weeks, let's put that to one side for a minute because it isn't fair.
You've got to.
If we're all being honest in terms of financial fair play, etc. But now let's actually look at who they've acquired, and it's basically the 2 best English players in the league last year.
Yeah.
Add that on to an already incredibly deep squad full of World Cup international players, no Champions League winners, apart from Scott Carson. And where did he win that? At Liverpool in 2005. Anyway, I'm going off the point. So add that in to what they already had. And I'm sorry, bro. It's like, I'm not saying I'm standing here waving the flag because Liverpool fans don't do that. But it's going to be very, very, very difficult for anyone else apart from Man City to win the league.
Joke.
Do you know what I mean?
I think the top 4 is going to be close. I'm not going to lie to you. I think the top 4 is going to be so tight, and I think it's going to be between us, United, City and Chelsea. And I'm not saying that United and us are going to be the favourites. I do think it's Chelsea and Man City for obvious reasons, based on the window, based on recent success for both teams. But it's going to be close, man. There's variables for all sides as well, by the way. United have just brought in 2 key players. Chelsea have just got the striker that they very much needed. Then you've got Man City who are bringing in the 2 best English players, as you've already mentioned. And we're getting all of our injured players back, and they were important injured players. Virgil van Dijk, Jordan Henderson, etc. Even Oxlade-Chamberlain with a fully fit pre-season. His first pre-season since he's joined the club that he's actually been able to complete uninterrupted. So
unbelievable, man.
There's Harvey Elliott now, Naby Keita with a fully fit pre-season. I just think these are variables where any team can be in this conversation. Do you want me to give you my top 4?
Go on.
Yeah, top 4. Just me being logical, I'm going to say Manchester City. I'll edge us second, and that's me being optimistic. But I'm just going to say Chelsea so far have shown to me they can be more of a cup team. Not to say they can't win the league, as I'm saying, it's very close. So I'm going to say us second, Chelsea third, and then United fourth. Okay. And even between first and fourth, it's going to be close. That's the way I see it being. I'm not going to lie to you.
If it is that, we'll come back and we'll have to buy a drink. Maybe even put some money down.
He doesn't get these predictions wrong, yeah?
You got to be over 18.
He doesn't get the predictions wrong, yeah?
Fun stops. Make sure stop when the fun stops. That's the line, isn't it? So no, we don't promote.
Make sure you get that out right before we get into trouble.
Right, some quick fire predictions then. LFC Player of the Season next year, or this season, I suppose.
I think it edges to Mo Salah again.
Yep. Top goal scorer, is that another Salah?
Defo. That's his position in the team.
And a simple answer: will we win silverware? Yes or no?
This was supposed to be quick fire, weren't it? Yeah. I'm going to say yes.
It's a yes or no?
I'm going to say yes.
You're going to go with yes? And what is that trophy you think?
I think it could. Do you know what? I think we're going to see Klopp's first FA Cup or League Cup this season.
I would love that.
I'd love that. I'd celebrate it like it was a Premier League or a Champions. We've won the Premier League and Champions League. It'd be great to win them. And obviously, I'd rather win the Premier League and Champions League over an FA Cup. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to treat it like it's just some little man trophy. I'll very much take that. We haven't won an FA Cup since 2006.
Yeah, and we all know what happened there. We've lost in the final against Chelsea in 2011, I think.
And now it's actually called the League Cup, like the Football League Cup. It's no longer called like the Carabao Cup or something.
Is it the Football League Cup? Has it gone back to that?
It's the English Football League, yeah. No.
Decent. They've stopped grabbing all the sponsors'
Got
money
to,
and they've just gone back to
now there's a bit
how
more
it was.
prestige to it.
Fair enough. I rate that. Right, let's talk about the second hot topic of the episode, and that is transfers. Now, this is a hot topic. It's a hot topic, isn't it?
It's a sensitive hot topic.
It's a sensitive hot topic that we've been talking about, debating, trusting, not trusting. We're in for someone, we're out for someone, we're buying, we're selling. All the way since the start of the window, we have, as things stand, James, just to update you, there is 19 days from this video being recorded when the transfer window closes.
How long's the window being open?
I would say a good 2 months.
There we
go. At least.
And we haven't signed anyone.
Apart from Konate.
Yeah, and you know what? Put some respect on man like
yeah.
Konate, because obviously we needed that signing, but if they never signed a centre-back, that would have been a joke. That would have been illegal. That would have been illegal, lads. I'm not even bothered with the situation that we had to go through last season. You had to go out and get a centre-back. Everything else, though, when you take into the fact Gini left the club for free, you need to... Now, there's still rumours and there's still time for Renato Sanchez and stuff, and Liverpool do like to get it done out of nowhere. But I just think there's something beneficial about getting these players in early, getting them into pre-season, and just giving them a proper run-in with the team, a proper chance to settle.
That's the ideal way, surely.
Exactly. That's what you want to do.
But that's not what we do.
It's not what we do. And we haven't done it again. And you see the other teams around us spending on big ballers, and these are the teams that we should be competing with. We're not an Arsenal or whatever. You do want to be competing for top four. We just... Sorry, Jason. I know it's Jason's behind the camera, but it weren't even a take at Jason. It's just you don't want to end up accepting that. Because Liverpool, we got into the top four.
Yeah.
I don't want to now just accept that. I want to keep winning league titles. And plus, how long do we have? In my opinion, the best coach in the league, and Jurgen Klopp for. You don't know how long you're going to have him.
Tops.
Use the maximum. Use what you can get. And even if he stays a new contract, you don't know if he will. So at the end of the day, give him what he can, because look what he's done with the net spend in the last 5 windows, which has been about 4 million.
The budget he's worked on, he should be bloody Home Secretary of the bloody budget.
Name me, and audience as well, please. Name me another manager that has won a Premier League and a Champions League with not being the richest club in the country. Now, hear me out. Sir Alex with Manchester United, he was the richest club in the country in and around that point.
No way.
Man City, they haven't even won a Champions League and they're the richest club. And Chelsea, when they started getting into that Champions League conversation, they were at least one of the richest, if not maybe the richest at that time.
I'm trying to think. That's a great question, bro.
Nate, tell me a manager, and I'll give you the short answer without you thinking about it.
There's one person.
There is none, and it's Jurgen Klopp is the only one. So put some respect on his name. The fact he's gone out there, he's won the 2 biggest trophies, and he's not even within probably the top 4 richest clubs. We should be 4th, but there's no evidence saying that we are. So...
I mean,
it's one of them.
Through speaking to people at the Kop TV, we're back at the games now, doing fan cams outside Anfield.
And that's a belter. That the atmosphere was great the other day.
Honestly,
just to touch on it for a second, that was great, man.
Going back, feeling the love. You know, I'm not being funny.
Everyone who showed the support and coming round.
Well, we had like a little theatre going on, really, didn't we? Both nights. And big up to the kids that like taking selfies during our fan cams. Quite rude, isn't it, really?
It was a little bit, but it was fun.
Different generations.
Yeah,
because in my day, I just would have got a little slap for that.
I just respected the fact they could have been going on a channel with like 100,000 subscribers, and they're just like, "Hey, can I have a picture?"
We could have been live in Australia. Do you know what I mean? Broadcasting to 10 million people. And they're just going, selfie, lads, lads, nice one. In a bit.
Lads.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Defo.
But no, it has been great being back. But one of the things in the fan cams that we've been talking about is the lack of people coming in. Some people are worried, some people are trusting the process. But like I said, 20 days to go. And realistically, we still need a midfielder and a striker. But before we came on air today, we have heard that Xherdan Shaqiri has agreed personal terms with Lyon, which is, I guess, the first box to tick.
Yep.
But then after that, Liverpool obviously have to agree the fee.
Well,
tell us what the fee was.
The fee that Lyon have came in with is 6 million.
I mean, that's...
and add-ons, so whatever that is, you know. But at the moment,
unless the add-ons is 10 mil.
Yeah, of course, but
which it won't be.
It probably won't be. You're probably looking at about 4 million in total. It could be like a £10 million deal. But I can understand if you're Liverpool, then you want to get yourself around £10 million. plus add-ons, because Shaqiri is still, he's someone who's been in all the top leagues, he's still a big name, he's
Champions
just had a
League
good
winner.
Euros.
In 2 clubs.
He's just done well with us, you know, like even though it never lived up to what he could be, and he's what, maybe 29, 30 years of age, I still think you can get more than that, and I wouldn't be accepting 6 million for Shaqiri, but I do believe that we need to get him out the club.
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, Liverpool need to sell before we buy. That's just a fact. It's not, you know, our maybe backwards way of doing things. It's actually a sustainable business model for a football club. You spend the money that you bring in, and that's why we're not in £500 million worth of debt like some other clubs down the M62. But we still need to buy some players, bro. So, I mean, Jeremy Doku, another name that was really heavily linked yesterday, that kind of came, went away, and now it's back. He is a player that we like. Renato Sanchez also linked. I mean, 2 questions for you to round up this hot topic. Are we going to buy someone? And if we do, who's it going to be?
I believe we will. I believe we'll sign someone. And I think if we do, it's probably going to be someone like Renato Sanchez. Even if it's Doku, you know, with Doku, a lot of people are trying to compare him to Mane because his finishing isn't quite there, but he's got pace. He's not really like Mane. Yeah. What people don't really realise with Sadio is that he's a very special type of player. And I'm not even like being like the Sadio Mane thing, you know. I'm just saying like he is a special type of, he's a unique type of player, and that's what's made him stand out to a lot of others. You know, how many times have you just look at the numbers that Salah gets and then ask how many neutrals rate Mane above Salah. Because there's a lot that do. Yeah. There's a lot that rate Mane very highly, of course, beside last season. So I think it's unfair to compare them two. But he is his own type of player. He's young. With Klopp, he could become better. He's very quick. He's direct. But I do think Renato Sanchez will be someone who suits us a little bit more of that regime. I know he has a poor time at Swansea, but in this system,
forget his time at Swansea.
With the experience, it wouldn't be fair to compare it. So, you know, since then he's been at Bayern and stuff like that. You know, that's what you've got to really take into consideration.
Forget the Swansea.
And he's just won a league with Lille. He's a league champion, so he's got that experience. It's not like he's just came out of nowhere and he's just this random youngster. He's someone that Klopp can work with. He's already got a foundation. Klopp can build that foundation. Yeah,
I'd like to see him come in. Yeah. I really do think he's the right age. He's probably the right price.
The money isn't too much. Yeah,
not too much. They're asking for 40 mil euros, which is about 35 mil.
Which is
normal. And if we've just spent that on Konate, a midfielder, you know, if you could, in this day and age of Liverpool buying a midfielder and a defender for 70 mil, isn't too bad. So if
Chelsea have just spent 115 on someone that, you know, they sold for 20 mil. And if we can't spend 70 mil in a window, then I don't know.
Especially now, like, if we can't spend 70 mil now, when will we ever be able to spend 70 mil?
That's what I know. I know it's a pandemic and stuff, but you should still be able to go off your recent successes and the good business that you've done and be able to spend a little bit more than what you have.
Right. Hopefully we see Sanchez. Hopefully we see Doku or a winger. Maybe. Let's get on to the final hot topic of the episode. Now, this is something that is a bit more serious. As you guys will well be aware of, James, in reaction to the England-Italy Euro 2020 final, released a video, and it basically explained in a way why, as an institution, you did not support England in that moment. And you were referring to the racial abuse that Saka received.
Not even just in that moment, it justified, because I didn't really support the institution anyway.
But let's talk about that. So why is that, and how did you feel when you put that video out and seen just how many views that actually got?
First off, the reaction was like way more than what I thought it was going to be, because I just use my Instagram for what it is. You just go on there, you post stuff and you talk about things, and then that one just went the way it did. So thank you for everyone who did show support.
How many views is that on now?
I don't even know. I haven't checked. To be fair, the last time I checked, it was like 500,000, but something like that. Either way, I'm just glad the message got across right, the point that I wanted to actually make, because
600,000 right now.
I understand that it's the minority who can ruin it for the majority, but you see the stadium booing the knee and stuff like that, and then you just see the reactions. It's just, what I don't like is the fact that someone one moment, once they're doing something for you, once they're giving you a service, that is when you give them their flowers. But when they make a mistake in a very high pressure moment, a penalty is a 50-50 situation. I do not care what anybody else says. Anything can go wrong. Yet you can sky it, but if you get it on target and the goalkeeper makes a save, then it is what it is. But then what I hate is, as I'm watching this game, I'm watching this penalty shootout, I see Saka miss, I see Sancho miss, I see Rashford miss. As it gets to Sancho, or whoever was the second penalty taker, I'm already thinking about things like, well, you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You already know what's going on. I've got friends who was out, and they're black, and they went out and they couldn't actually watch the rest of the penalties because they felt like they had to go. And they sent me a voice note joking about it, but it's like, oh, I have to go, lad, like I've just had to leave. That shouldn't be funny. That shouldn't be funny. You should be able to stay there and just enjoy your time and enjoy the match, win or loss. Because one plan I had, win or lose, is that I was going to have a little bevy after it. Because one thing I thought it was important to mention is that it's important to celebrate these players when they've just done something that was so huge. We weren't really supposed to get to the final. We got to the final. We got all the way to penalties. We literally took it down to all the way to the wire, and maybe we did lose at the final hurdle. At the end of the day, though, you had a belt of summer. You got to spend time with your family, something that we didn't really get to do before. The country literally opens up for football. Opens up. And that was them giving you that experience. If we got knocked out the group stage, you don't get all that. At the end of the day. So I just didn't really appreciate, or I don't appreciate, first off, the way that they're treated in the media. And by there I mean the likes of Saka, Sterling, everyone. Saka buys a house for his mum and he gets crucified for it. You're taking, that's a joke.
But we know what that is, and I think it is time to start calling out these publications.
But this is everything.
And whether it's conscious or subconscious.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it.
Yeah.
So
I didn't want England as the institution to win that Euros. I wanted them players. I was supporting the players.
Too, yeah.
I wasn't supporting the badge, with all due respect. And it's not even a Scouse, not English thing.
Because some people will watch this.
That's what they're going to assume.
And they are going to see you
assume.
saying you don't support the badge, but you support the players. There are going to be people who, and I'm definitely not one of them, but there are going to be people who say, but you're English.
But what I will say to counteract that is, I do not support, just because I am born into something does not mean I have to support what they do. That's just how it is. And I do not support the way this country runs. It's just the way it looks at certain people. That's what I don't like, and that's just the number one issue I have. Therefore, and how I can actually tell you to counteract the argument that it's just about Scouse, not English. These players that I'm supporting aren't Scouse. Harry Kane isn't, Saka isn't, Rashford is a Manchester United player, and I was still wanting them to score that penalty. Sancho, basically a United player, still wants them to win. Because that's what you should want for people. You want to see them get together. You've saw what they've done for the country, and that should be celebrated. But instead, it's ruined by quite a lot of people. And it's a lot of people. People say it's the minority, it's still a lot of people.
Well, this fact came out yesterday. Twitter did their own research into it, and they found that the majority, and this isn't an opinion, this is fact that came out yesterday, the majority of the racial abuse from that Euro night was coming from English IP addresses, which means English, whether they are English people, it's coming from this country, so it can't be ignored
anymore.
It'll
be English people.
And I just think when you put that video out, I mean, I was scrolling through some of the names that were commenting, bro, like massive musicians. Like, have you spoke to any of these people about it further on?
I spoke to a few of them. They were just like showing me love for the fact like that I got it, or they thought that I got it nail on the head type of thing. And
because it was only about a 20-second clip, wasn't it?
It was like a minute.
Oh,
like
was it a minute?
Just a minute clip of me talking about it. And all it was is just to just saying what everyone else thinks, just trying to put it into words. I just don't like that. Saka's 19. He's literally my age, probably. In fact, younger than me. And I just think what he's doing at that age, that should be like, we should be proud of that. Do you know what I mean? We should be proud that someone's that good and representing at that level.
But the love he's received since that.
Nah, that's what I liked. That's what I liked. But it's just, you shouldn't have to be looking over your shoulder, should you? For doing good things.
No. And
but that was boss. All the the wall and stuff that they done at Arsenal. That was really nice to see.
Yeah, and the Tottenham fans clapping Saka
and even
when
the
he came on the
Rashford
pitch.
Memorial.
The Rashford mural. I mean, one thing I was really proud, again, like, how many times have I said how much I rate Jordan Person as a player and a leader, but he's come out and said firmly already, next season we will continue to take the knee, and we are doing it because of equality. If you don't think that that's what we're doing it for, then, again, you kind of know what you are in that situation. But the fact that our captain... He didn't need anyone to tell him to say this, by the way. This isn't Klopp in his ear. This is him coming out and getting rid of any confusion around, one, that they're going to still do it, which we're all behind, but two, the fact that he's also telling you the reason why they're doing it now, before the season's even started, bro.
you've got to understand it from their perspective, because the reason why some people say they don't support the knee is because of the actual institution and certain things that might go on behind it. But that's not what the players are going down on one knee for. They're going down on one knee because that actually means something to them. If that's a symbol that means something to them, then you continue to do it. Because at the end of the day, if we take away the knee, then it just gets back to the way it was, and we're not sending a message out there. It's got to be a little bit more than just holding the flag, saying say no to racism in one language.
Yeah.
One thing that speaks in all languages is an action. The knee is an action. It speaks in all languages, no matter where you're watching it in the world. So I think it's important to keep it up, and then you'll get kids saying, hey dad or hey mum, why are they taking the knee before the game? And then the parents are going to explain why they actually do that, and it educates them further generations. If this is something that we do going forward, I still think we can do a lot more, by the way, but it can't hurt.
No.
Can't hurt at all.
And going on what you're saying there about being an action, there's been talk from higher up, conservative MPs who have called it gesture politics. Now that really effed me off, to be honest, because a gesture to me is something that is a nice thing to do. A gesture for someone. If I do a gesture for you, I do you a favour. Yeah. That's a gesture. What they're actually trying to achieve here isn't a gesture. This is real life. If we like it or not, human rights.
Treat people how you like to be treated.
So to call it a gesture is the biggest insult. And especially coming from people that have, let's be honest, not got the cleanest track books themselves. Anyway, that's for another discussion, but big up to you for opening up about that one, bro, because that is something I wanted to talk to you about on the first episode.
And thank you to everyone who's shown support on that, because I got a lot of love just, saying you hit the nail on the head. And that meant a lot, because that's all it was trying. It was just trying to get out my perspective of it, and maybe other people will feel like that, but maybe just didn't know how to express it. And it's important to keep getting the message out there, especially with the fact a lot of young people watch us. And
exactly,
that's a big important thing that we forget. We forget that sometimes, because we're just content creators and we see each other, and we forget sometimes that there's actually an audience out there. It's good to get this, to put it into words for them to understand, because to them it can just be, they think it's just a little bit of racism. Do you know what I mean? But it's actually a lot. Like, think about if that was you constantly on your phone, seeing message after message after message for getting discriminated for something that's not.
But guess what? The people that are getting outed and who do make the racist comments, and then you see them, they've lost their job. I'm not going to lie to you. I get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you, because that's just instant karma. For me, that's just
you need to do
lesson.
that, because otherwise people can do that for generations and get away with it. So you need to have consequences, don't you?
Of course. Right, listen, that is the end of Hot Kopics podcast episode 1. My brother James Redmond. Make sure you go and subscribe to him. Let us know in the comments what you think the Hot Kopics should be next week. We're going to do 3 or 4 per show. Very important things that are relevant to not only Liverpool fans but content creators, the Scousers in Liverpool and further abroad as well. Big up to you for watching. Really appreciate the support. Remember, like, comment and subscribe to the Kop TV so you never miss an episode of Hot Kopics if you just press that bell. And we'll see you again very soon. Take care. Up the red men. Let's go. Hot Kopics.